Good afternoon, everyone. We'll be getting started in a minute. I'm just waiting for some people to join. Hope everybody's having a good day.
I am.
Did somebody take all the pizza home from yesterday?
No, it's in the fridge.
Oh, okay, nice.
I'm pretty sure Jake has like a ChatGPT calculator where he types in the amount of people and ChatGPT tells him
I could
how
have
many
it.
pizzas to order. Not joking.
That's pretty funny.
And it's pretty good.
Nice. All right, I'll give it another minute or so and then we can get started. All right, I'm gonna kick it off. Okay, so I hope everybody's ready and excited to learn some new marketing skills. This strategy we've been working on with a number of investors, and it's been performing really, really well. So I'm going to just take you through, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. I'm not just going to show you like how to do the direct mail. I'm going to show you exactly the steps that you need to do to actually execute this and bring this into your company today. So let's just at a very high level go through like what's the problem today. Right now, deals are absolutely harder to find. I'm sure everyone is spending more money to find less deals. So it's like, how do we get ahead of our competition and how do we get an advantage over everybody else? And in years past, it used to be, data stacking, getting more targeted. People have picked up on that, and most investors are starting to be more intelligent on who they go after from a marketing standpoint. But today we're seeing the highest ROI in going after speed. Speed to those people that are going through a situation or there's a trigger-based event. To give you an example, like pre-foreclosure. As soon as that pre-foreclosure recording gets recorded, you are actually going out and marketing to them. So we're going to go through. So that's currently the problem. Like things are really challenging right now to get more deals. You need to get an advantage, and this is the way to do it. As I mentioned, the solution is the speed. We're using speed now as a lever to utilize your marketing to go after home sellers that have something that just happened, a distress situation that just happened. And I'm going to explain. So you might say that, well, I get pre-foreclosures, I get lien data and all this stuff from like my list pulling database. What you don't realize is you get that information weeks to maybe months later than it actually occurred. So you're already delayed, and so is everyone else when they start marketing to these people. So you really need to go to the source to make sure that you are immediate at getting this information. And now we are going to go through all the steps and how to do this, but just understand this takes consistency. Every single day, you need to check in and record the properties or the people who are going through this situation. So you're having marketing trigger immediately. And I forgot to mention, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the Q&A and I will answer them as I go through. I want this to be really informal and like any questions you guys have, just let me know and I'll answer them. Okay, so this strategy is not to replace your bulk marketing. Okay, so whatever you're doing for bulk marketing, whether that if you're doing direct mail, text messaging, cold calling, anything like that, this strategy is you're not going to get a huge volume of leads coming through. Okay, because if you can imagine, you're basically going in and finding out those people that might have a pre-foreclosure or have a tax lien or anything like that. So you're gonna have a small list. It will accumulate over time, but you're not gonna have a tremendous amount. I would say that, so what is the average time between the counties and the data providers? It depends, Tate. So depending on the location, if it's a rural area, usually they take a little bit longer, but it's anywhere from a week to a few weeks to a month, because they all report up and they might not aggregate that data as quickly. Okay, so that's what we've basically seen. So even a 1 week lag is actually a lot in the sense of getting to them before everybody else, your competitors. So hopefully that answers your question. All right, cool. So yeah, let's move on. I think I explained all of this. So don't start your bulk marketing. Use this as a strategy to complement it, because at the end of the day, whatever you're doing with your bulk marketing, you still need that depending on the size of your company. If you have you might have a large enough company that you need volume. But what this is going to do is it's going to supplement it, and it's going to give you an overall bump and increase in your ROI. Even though it's a small list, it is producing really great results. And we even have some investors that are seeing a 40x return. Yes, 40x return. But keep in mind, it's not a huge volume of people, so just take that with a grain of salt. Okay, we're going to go through, and I'm just going to utilize this as like basically an SOP, exactly what you need to do. So the workflow that we're going to go through is I'm going to show you exactly how to pull county records. I'm going to show you how to capture that data into, and I'm just going to use a Google Sheet. Some people have Google Sheets. You can use Google Sheets. You can use, if you have a software that you use, you could do that. But I'm going to just use a Google Sheet because I'm going to show you that how you can automate your direct mail from a Google Sheet very easily. Then once we capture the initial data, we're going to just make sure that we're going to find the person's mailing address because they could be absentee owned, right? And if you mail to them, you want to make sure you mail to their mailing address. We're going to add that information to the data set, and then we're going to create a mailing campaign, and then I'm just going to show you how to trigger it, and automatically its mail will go out consistently. So we're going to go through this whole process. On the right-hand side, this is a really cool cheat sheet. So if you want to take a picture of this, this is really helpful. We're going to go through pre-foreclosures mainly, but I'll show you the other ways to get the other pieces of information. So pre-foreclosures, you can go through the registry, which I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. So you can even with the registry, I mean, you can get bankruptcies, liens, deceased, pre-foreclosures. I mean, there's a lot of data, and I'll show you. The treasurer is where you can get tax liens and water and sewer liens. The building department is where you can find code violations. The fire department, which most investors that I talk to don't even know that there is such a list, but you can get fire damaged properties. In the state of Massachusetts, if you go to the Boston Fire Department and request this, I believe they put together a new file from every single town in the state. And I think like in October of November of every year, they aggregate everything and you can ask them for a list for every single town. So they not only give you the property address, but they even give you the estimated amount of damage, which is amazing because I just sort it by the most damaged down to the least damaged and just go after those properties that have the most damaged properties. Court records, you can find evictions, and then state website, which I'll show you, is state liens. That's another list that most people don't even know that there is such a list. Okay, any questions so far? I don't see them in the Q&A, so I'll continue to move on. All right, so let's go with, let's start with county records. So I show you here, and you guys can take a picture of these as you go through. Even at the end, we'll send you guys like the slide deck for this, so you have it. So all that you need to do is literally just, I'm going to copy this, and it's Essex County Registry of Deeds. That's just, that's the county that we are in. And then I'm going to click on Salem Deeds. And then what you want to find is an online search. So if I go to searches, search our records, I'm going to zoom in too because my screen is very wide. Then I come here. So there are different ways that you can find um, recordings. Okay, you can do a name search, street search, but we're going to do an extended search. So this is basically we're searching by document type. And I'm just going to go back to September. And then this is where you can see if I scroll through these, there's a kind of a long list, but if you go through these, you can see that there's bankruptcy. There is, I'm just going to type it in, liens. Um, there's death certificate. And what we're going to be doing is lis pendens because we want to identify lis pendens is the recording document on what the bank puts through to the county in order to start the foreclosure process. Okay, so we're going to do a search for lis pendens, and I'm going to do all towns, and I'm going to do a search. All right, so we have this list here. So you can see on the right-hand side, these are the property addresses. You'll see that sometimes there's multiple recordings. So I'm just going to take the first one because I have the address, but I don't know a town. So I'm just going to click on the image. And then I can see that this is 5 Grover Street, Salisbury, Mass. Okay, so that is what you want right here. All right, and this is the person's name, Deborah Hay. So I can enter that information in. So from here, what we do is we have this spreadsheet set up. And again, if you guys want it, just, I think that you guys should have information. Maybe we'll just give you a link to this spreadsheet too, so you can at least see this template and you can utilize it. So once you have this, this document, all that I'm going to type in is 5 Grover Street, Salisbury, Mass, and then okay. I don't know the zip code and I don't know the mailing address yet. Again, I'm going through this step-by-step process. You guys can absolutely automate this. You can probably hire somebody that can do this and set it up, a data scraper, so it automatically goes in. Or you can hire a VA. This is a perfect job for a VA because it's very systematic and it's just very consistent. So we have a lot of people that they have a VA that just does this every morning. They go through, scan for any new ones, add them to a list, and then that's it. Okay? So essentially, you go through these and you're just entering 37 Hilltop. And I can go through this one. This person is in Ipswich. Okay, Mass. Okay. We can enter the name, but you get the point. I'm not going to go through all of these. Okay, so it's easy as that. Your registry will likely look different than ours, so just keep that in mind. But at the very least, you want to make sure that you can search by document type. You get the list, and you can go through each one of these. All right. The next step is, okay, we need a mailing address. And again, this is where you can leverage if you already have access to like a list building platform or anything like that where you can enter in a property address and it will spit out a mailing address. You can utilize that, but I'm going to show you the method that's a no cost method. Okay. So this one, we know Salisbury. So what I'm going to do is just Google Salisbury, Mass, assessor database online. Okay, so it's town, state, assessor database online. And I'm going to come to this one because I know Patriot Properties is one of the major ones, companies that most every single city or town uses in Massachusetts. And then street name, Grover, street number 5. Okay, here it is here. I'm going to click on the name. Current property mailing address. So here you go, Deborah Hay, and oh, she lives in Maine. Okay, so This is a perfect one that if I mailed to her property address, it wouldn't have gotten to her. So I would just update this. Old Orchard Beach. Old Orchard Beach, Maine. I'm going to copy the zip code. And then I'm also going to get, I don't really need the property zip code. It doesn't really do anything for me because we're mailing to the mailing address. And then this would be pre-foreclosure. Okay, so that's it. So I have all the information that I need to start marketing to them or mailing to them. Okay, so that's all you do, and you can go through the list. And if you wanted to do more than pre-foreclosures, you can search for liens or anything else that I showed you how to do that on the document type. And then you have this column right here that can identify what list that they're on. Because based on this list, you can then trigger different automated marketing campaigns, which is really unique. Okay? So any questions on this process so far? Because I'm going to go now to the next way to find different types of lists. Any questions on that? Does that make sense? Okay. So moving on to town departments. So as I mentioned, if I go back up here, to get tax liens, water and sewer liens, code violations, and fire damaged, you need to request this from a town department. And for me, it's town department. For you, it might be county level. It all depends on how information is aggregated in your area. Okay? But what you want to do is you want to find the manager of the department. So if I were to go to, let's say, Reading, Mass Treasurer, I would click on here and I would try to find town treasurer, send text, that's interesting. But it says contact, let me see. They don't have an email address. So a lot of times they'll give you an email address on here. If they don't, I generally call the phone number and ask for an email address for the treasurer. Make sure you talk to the treasurer because a lot of people that work in the department outside of the treasurer might not even know what you're talking about. Okay? But what you're going to do is you're going to get the email address for the person in charge of that department, and you'll need to send them what's called a FOIA request, Freedom of Information Act request. That is the proper way to ask for this information. If you do not put it into the form of a FOIA request, by law, they don't have to provide you with the information. But if you do, they have to at least provide you with the information, if not, tell you why. And on this next one, this is the FOIA request for Massachusetts. I'll zoom in a little bit. All of this is basically boilerplate, the FOIA request, and this is where I specify the information that I want. A list of homeowners who are delinquent in paying their property taxes. For each record, please indicate at least the person's full name, property address, and tax delinquent amount. Also, it would be preferable to receive this information in Excel, but if not possible, you can email it to me in another electronic format. Okay? In Massachusetts, they are required to get back to you to respond within 10 days, and this is business days. And if they try to charge you, they have to justify why they're charging you for over $20. So you will get a ton of responses. Either I don't know what this is, or a lot of times they don't even respond. And I did a test not too long ago, maybe a few months ago. The person didn't get back to me. It was day 10. And I said, hey, it's been 10 days per, public record, Massachusetts public record, whatever. You have 10 days to get back to me. I'm not even joking. Within 20 minutes, I got an email back from him. Hey, I'll get this to you today. And he sent me the list. So you just need to keep on them and make sure that they are giving you that information. I also have a link here that will give you the FOIA request for every single state. Okay, so every single state is going to be a little bit different. So you just want to click on yours, and then you're just basically going to be copying this information, and you can put it into an email template. Okay, it does not have to be a letter. All right, So that is how you create a FOIA request and you send it off to the departments. Okay. All right. Yep. You will likely need to follow up. That is a big one. Most all the time you'll need to follow up. Okay. Any questions with that process? Man, I must be killing it. Oh, here we go. Is it better to send a FOIA from a personal? Tom, honestly, it doesn't matter. Either way, they have to provide it. There are some states, keep in mind, there are some states like Washington. I believe in order to request this, they make you sign something saying that you're not going to utilize it for business needs or for outreach or something like that. So, but at the end of the day, you can do it from a personal email or a biz. It doesn't really matter. If they do have a law like that in place, they will likely send you something for you to sign. Since these requests are so manual, how do companies like Atom Data Property get this data? Ross, good question. Okay, so this assessor or registry information, that gets all filtered up to them. They can access this information and get it pulled for them. Same with even the towns. They filter that information to data aggregators and they will get at that information. However, what they won't get is a lot of times if you go into your list building platform, they might, if you do a search, the person could have had a lien last year, but doesn't have a lien today, but they might still be on that list. The other thing is that even though they have a tax lien, doesn't mean that that's an issue. They could have a tax lien for $5 or they transposed a number, right? Or they could have a tax lien that is within the last quarter. And if in your state, they don't do a tax taking for 3 years, they probably aren't really crazy in distress unless they have like 20,000 that they're late on. Okay, so there are some like details that we can actually go a layer deeper and talk about when do you actually go after certain people that are even on the tax lien list and when do you not go after them. That's not the intent of this webinar, but if you guys find interest in that and want me to go through exactly what I do to know who to market to and who not to, because again, this is all about spending the least amount of money and getting the best results. I could market to all people on my tax lien list and send 1,000 mailers out, or I could filter it down and get 200 of amazing, really high quality that are in really distress because they're going to have a tax taking. Okay, so there's a difference there. And I'm trying to get you to spend the least amount of money and get those best results. So hopefully that answered that. This is defined which info distress types. Jason, so this request, the FOIA request, you make a request to the treasurer for tax lien and water and sewer liens. You would make a separate request, and I would keep those requests separate. Do not combine them because they might miss them and they'll likely ask you to create a different FOIA request for each one. So you'll literally send two, one for a tax lien and one for water and sewer liens. Also keep in mind, tax liens generally, people are paying taxes quarterly. Okay, so this is not an everyday thing. This is likely just once a quarter or even every 6 months because the information is probably not going to be updated all that much. Okay, you go to the building department for code violations. Code violations are hard to find. A lot of building departments do not have a list of code violations, but if you give them an address, they can tell you if it has a code violation or not. Other areas do have a list. Okay, fire department. What I've been finding is they'll have a fire damage list because they have to have they have proper reporting on all of that information. Okay, so these are the lists that I'm talking about. Okay, Michelle, thank you. Would like to know more about targeted marketing. So maybe we'll do a follow-up webinar specifically on like, okay, you now have a tax lien list. Who do you go after on this list and why? All right, so let's move on. The last one is state liens that I'm going to go through. So state liens, essentially, you're just Googling again, and you're saying, I'm going to say Massachusetts, Massachusetts, make sure I spell that right, tax delinquent list. And I'm going to click on this one and click on tax delinquent list. So this list is a list of anyone who owes the state more than $25,000 right here. This is not property tax. These are taxes, personal taxes. Okay, so if I wanted to, I'm going to click on individual, and then I'm going to go to a town. Let's just go to a specific town and click on search. Okay, so here's the list. Everybody in this town, they're on the bad list. The one thing that I don't know is if they own property. Okay, so you will have to cross-reference and see if they own property. But again, it's not a big list. This can easily be done by a VA. But also no investor that I've talked to, and I've been doing this for a long time, is pulling this list. No investor that I talked to has ever told me that they do this process. So it's worthwhile to make sure that you're going after the right people, because again, just stepping back, if you have a list of 5,000 records and you have no way to discern which one is more motivated than others, you're likely spending the same amount of money for each one of those 5,000 records. But if you have 5,000 records and you're like, oh man, this person is on they have personal taxes of $30,000 and they're on the tax lien list, right? These allow you to spend more time and energy on these top quality prospects. And that's kind of the magic behind getting a better ROI. So what I would do here is basically, I would do the same process. Let me actually go back into, do I have Salisbury up? Yeah. So I'm going to go back to search. Okay. I'm going to type into Salisbury. Search. So I would take this person's name and go into the assessor database, and here's the owner. I would just put in their last name. And let me just see, Howard, right here, Howard. So he likely owns any other properties? This one here, building type, so unbuildable, rural land. Interesting. But in any case, this is very likely the person that I could kind of send a mail piece to. It's unbuildable. I don't really know. Have to do more investigation if you could make it buildable, but it's 4 acres, so it's a lot of land. But that's the process of doing that. Any questions on that? No? Okay. Moving on. Okay, so we already went through this. We captured all the initial data. Again, as you go through those different, the pieces that I just kind of showed you, you're going to basically create a list of all the property addresses through here. So you're going to have a nice long list. You're going to have the indicator of like what type of list they're on. And now you're basically ready to be able to just send mail and just automate it ongoing. So once you have this spreadsheet, Open Letter Marketing created a tech product called Open Letter Connect that allows for one-off marketing sends and can integrate into CRMs, Google Sheets, basically anything. And we did this because we started to see kind of the momentum and the need to be able to do trigger marketing. So whether you're going to be marketing or triggering mail from this spreadsheet, or let's say you have a CRM that you're like, hey, anybody that I haven't communicated with and I want to get in touch with, I just want to automate like direct mail piece. We can actually tie into most all CRMs and create that trigger automation. So you're actually triggering it from your CRM, sending a request to us, and then mail's going out the door. Okay? So in this platform, you have the ability to create a campaign, and we have a full template builder, which we'll go through. I'm not going to go too deep into this. The premise is to show you how to do it. and our team works with you basically to help you set this up so you can automate it so you don't have to get too techy at all. But the goal is that we want to send a postcard as soon as we enter in information into the spreadsheet. We want to send a postcard, wait 1 day, and then send a professional letter. Now that's kind of the goal for pre-foreclosures, because we don't know at what point the information actually gets into the recording, gets recorded, to when the auction date happens. So we want to be very quick with our sends. And between when we trigger a mailing to when it actually goes out of our door, it's two business days. Okay, so we have I think the fastest in the industry. We can get mail out within 2 business days from when you trigger this order. So this is going out in 2 days, delaying a day. So you have 2 mail pieces out, likely before any of your competitors even know that this got recorded. What do you think about postcard day 1 and a check letter on second day? Bobby, you can do that. Yeah. So we're going to go through and show you the exact kind of postcard and professional letter that we'd recommend. That's been working well. But you can absolutely do a check letter if you want. So the first one is this postcard. Okay. And I think we have this in templates, don't we, Kayla?
I'll
Let me
check
check.
and I'll add it if
I'll show
not.
you. Okay. So if you were to come in here, I mean, to create a template in here, it's very easy. I mean, we have tons of different options. So if you just select one, you can select use template, and then you can basically edit anything that you want. But this is the one that we recommend. I'm quite positive, like 99.9% positive, this is in one of our templates. So you can see here's the back of it, and here's the front of it. So again, this goes out day 1, and then you pause a day, and then we have zoom in, professional letter going out day 2, or day 3. Okay, and this is the professional letter. Okay, again, we have these in the templates, but you can utilize anything. Bobby, to your point, yeah, I mean, I don't see an issue with that. Postcard and then a check letter on day 2 can be completely fine. Just you want to make sure you're tracking your results. We do allow for like tracking phone numbers in this platform too, so you can track all your responses, how many calls you got coming in and all that, which is cool. But so you create this campaign, and then what we do is once the campaign is set up, we create the integration for you that says whenever you add a new line into here and you put a Y, basically for a send, this is going to trigger direct mail. So all you have to do. So as you're entering information in, right, you're getting property information, then you have to go back and get mailing information. But once you have a full record completed, you just put a Y, and that will trigger the request to send mail. And the really cool thing is we will even send you back information on the order ID and the day that it's sent out. So this spreadsheet you can utilize and identify exactly when things have been triggered, okay, to keep you updated. So as you can see, every day your VA can just go in, enter all the information, and they're just adding a Y next to every one of them, and it's automatically being triggered, okay? In our system, we have an order, I'll leave the page. You can see all of your orders. You can go through this and you can see kind of, I think this probably one was, yeah, on hold. So you can see it's going where it is in the mail stream, what location it hit, if it's in transit or was delivered or returned. So you can get all that information. You can see this source, it was triggered by a Zapier, right? This is probably actually one of the Zaps that I sent that we canceled or put on hold. So you can get more detailed information on this side as well. But honestly, that's how easy it is to set this up and to create this. But the important piece that I want to stress is you have to do this every day. This speed is what is the magic behind it. The automation with direct mail just gives you the flexibility to do what you need and not have to get a large bulk of records before you can start mailing. What is the typical response rate in doing postcards, professional letters? That is a loaded question. I would say in general, industry standard right now, this whole year, I would say on average, it was about a 0.5% response rate. This mailing is going to be much higher than that. And you know what? I'll get back to you on response rate with this specific approach, but I know it's much higher than just standard bulk mail if you're just going out to a lot like larger audience. But in general, 0.5% response rate for the whole year. It has dipped through the holidays, but January always, every single year, January is the best time to mail. We see the best response rates and a lot of deals getting done. Question for later, if it's not covered, is there a way, even a paid API service, to automate checking property addresses for USPS vacancies in the Google Sheet? Also, do you know of any way to automate when a executor is added to approve it? Okay, so the first question, API service to automate checking addresses, USPS vacancies in the Google Sheet. Not that I know of. I don't know of an easy service. Kayla, do you know anything? I don't know of an easy service that you can do that. That will go to the Google Sheet. Yeah, I'm not too sure. But why do you, I'm curious, Tom, why you would want to see vacancies. And the reason why I ask you that, and let me just follow this up, is because these people are likely people that you want to get in touch with. And granted, if they're vacant, it's going to come back to you, return to sender. So when you do receive that, that is potentially where you want to mail to. But the process that I took you through is going through the assessor database to find the mailing address. This is the address that's going to be likely the most up to date because this is where they're sending the tax information to this mailing address. So if the person, oh, look at that, just updated. Oops, we're going to have to cancel that. So if somebody passed away, or if it's vacant, they likely have a forwarding address. If somebody passed away, they likely have the updated information for the new person, if they even have it yet, and their mailing address of where they should be sending the tax information to. So that's why, like, even if it is vacant, I'd still mark it to them. And if it comes back like vacant, because when it comes back returned to sender, there's usually a code, and you can look that code up. And a lot of times it says vacant written on it, that you can then try to skip trace and find new information. Okay. Let me see. What is your opinion on doing soft offers for these types of leads? Michelle, if you're saying soft offers as far as like a check mailer for pre-foreclosures, pre-foreclosures, in my opinion, are the only list type that I would specifically say, hey, I know you're going into potential foreclosure. Anything else like deceased or lien or anything like that, I keep it general, the messaging. I do not specifically call out their issue because those other pieces, liens I may, and I just might keep it general, but deceased I absolutely do not, because you will offend people way more with your mail piece than if you just keep it general, still get to them very quickly. And then when they call back, you're going through your line of questioning, and you should know what list that they're on, and it can just seem like a form of questioning. Okay, that is going to give you way better results than if you call it out in the mail piece. With pre-foreclosures, I don't know that I really think that an soft offer or not is going to hurt or benefit you. To be quite honest, I'm not too sure. I don't know if I would send it on the first one. I like doing postcards first because you get first class mail. It's inexpensive, first class mail, so you get the return to senders, and then follow up with a letter or a check mailer. You can do either one of those. So I don't really have a preference either way. This functionality works with just a shared Google Sheet. Anything that you can save, basically it has to be online, and we need to be able to create either a zap to it, or if you're using a CRM that allows for outbound API calls, you could do that. But the easiest way for us to set it up is through Zapier. So if you're using any type of online database system that allows for Zapier to send information out via Zapier, we can connect to it, David. If we were to start at least 3 lists for now, what would be the top 3 lists you'd recommend? Ooh, good question, Michelle. On this, pre-foreclosures I know are working extremely well. So I would do pre-foreclosures. Um, I like tax liens done in the right way, making sure you have the right people on it. Honestly, if I'm doing it, I would just do all of them. Like you don't have to do evictions, but all of these are the same process. So to get one of them, you're just mimicking. I would probably, this would be my ideal at the very least. If you're going to do one, just you may as well do them all because tax liens you're only going to be requesting quarterly. Code violations you probably don't need updated all that much, maybe a few months. Fire damage properties you're probably only going to be updated every 6 months. This is the one that you're going to be doing daily. Okay, so sorry I didn't give you 3 lists. I gave you a bunch more, but it's not much more work to get the other ones. Are two touches enough, or should we consider after the two? Andrew, great question. Pre-foreclosures, we generally do like a 1-2 and then a follow-up. You can follow up call. If you don't want to call, you can send a another direct mail piece. But just keep in mind with pre-foreclosures, you could potentially be getting close to the date of auction. Okay? And that's why we have like a 1-2 punch right in a row. For liens and tax liens and fire damage properties, you can 100%, and we would recommend you do a longer campaign, and it doesn't need to be this immediate. Okay, it doesn't need to be a 1 day delay. You can draw it out a lot more. So maybe you're hitting them day one, and you're waiting 21 to 28 days. You're sending another piece, and so on and so forth. Okay. Cool. What would you recommend for would you recommend this for probate? At 100%. I am pulling info in a similar fashion, but it would be great to, yeah. Anything where you can get speed to data, you want to use this process because you are literally getting ahead of competitors because they're not going to get this information or even get it out if they're not using Open Letter Connect, like how we have this integrated. Most people, even if they get the information fast, they have to wait till they build up and get like a minimum of 200 to then send the batch out. So if you can get it fast, this up and you can just automate that. Let me see if I have, ask more questions if you guys have them. I'm just going through to see if I missed anything. Oh, if you guys use Go High Level too. If you guys use Go High Level, we have a Go High Level app in the App Store. So you can actually input them into your Go High Level and you can create a workflow. If tagged this way, send it through this workflow, and that ties into Open Letter Connect. So we already have that app set up. All right, as I mentioned, how does it fit into your bigger operation? It's not meant to replace bulk marketing. You still need to keep that, obviously, if you have a sizable business that you have, you're doing a number of deals a month. This is only to supplement it and to increase your overall ROI. Okay. Focus on mailing quickly, not perfectly. Okay. Don't worry about like, is this the perfect thing that I need to do? The speed is what is so important. Execute daily or multiple times per week, as I mentioned. And then we have another question. Sorry, I might have missed it, and thanks for the input. How do we extract probates? Probates you can actually get from anonymous attendee if you want to mention where you get yours, but you can actually get that through the registry. So I believe I go over here, probate, probate, probate decree. So you can get that information from the registry. If you guys, oh, also Open Letter Connect, we have a free account. So there's 3 plans, but we do have a free plan. So even if you just wanted to get an account set up, there's no cost. It's just cost per mail, which is great because you can do one-off pieces. But if you guys want to get set up and just walk through the process, here's a QR code. If you guys can scan this, you can just book a call with one of our team members, and they can get you set up with a Open Letter Connect account, and they can talk through on kind of what your strategy is. Because as we're going through this, you might already be doing something similar, but just not you could utilize this technology. So they'll get an understanding like what are you currently doing now, or what are you looking to do, so how we can integrate it, and then they can walk you through the process. But you guys, if you guys have any questions, you can email me. You're welcome to shoot me an email. Let me just mark some of these as done, done, done. How does pricing compare to regular direct mail campaign pieces? Great question. Depending on the plan that you're on the free plan, the cost per piece is going to be higher. If you pay for a plan, it's going to be cheaper. So it's honestly, it's just a calculation of like how much mail you're going to be sending through. And very soon we will have it basically in line or aligned with open letter marketing for bulk campaigns as well. And it will be based on volume. So yeah, the different plans, as you go up in price for a monthly, it drops significantly in cost per piece. So if you're like, hey, I want to actually just automate everything from my Go High Level or my CRM and send all bulk mail through it, you can absolutely do that, and we can get you really good rates where you're probably paying the same price as right now, but you have to do it manually. What are we calling this? Yeah, so when you call, I would call it first to market kind of strategy. And some of my team members are on now, and they know this strategy well. What's the frequency? Cool, thanks, David. And yes, tax liens. Okay, diving deeper into tax liens. So Kayla, do you mind just slacking that over to me, and we'll get another webinar set up, maybe in January, to go through tax lien, and we can go through water and sewer liens. So that's that, David. And then Bobby, what's the frequency to pull water sewer liens? Honestly, those are going to be on a quarterly basis too, because you pay generally water and sewer quarterly. So that's going to be on the same exact cadence. Quite honestly, I only pull tax liens, water and sewer liens every 6 months. There's not much that changes. And even if it does, you're really just looking at the people that came onto the list or that are still on the list after a few years. And you're just looking for the amount that they owe. So every 6 months should be fine. All right. Any other questions? We got 12 minutes to spare. I'll come back to this in case you guys want to scan that. But our team already knows this strategy, likely know exactly what you want. I think they already have the automations built out so they can tie in pretty quickly to your system. But all right, if there's no more questions, I don't want to take up more of your time than I need to. I hope everybody enjoys their day. Happy holidays to everyone. And yeah, let us know if you have any questions. Thank you all.
Hi, everyone.